And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another night of PIC Gossip, the second episode. And tonight I have a crew with me. Everybody state your name.
Hey, I'm Josh.
Hey, it's Black Queen.
Hello,
That's
I'm
easy.
AZ.
Now that I got my homeboys and my homegirl with me, we are going to start tonight's show with three exciting topics. Topic number one, House of Cards and the future of TV. Topic number two, political thrillers, book recommendations by yours truly. And the last topic is World War Z, the movie versus the book. All right, let's get started with topic number one, House of Cards, the hit show that's been sweeping Netflix. We've never seen anything like it unless you watch the original British show back in the 80s. But other than that, it is a very scary, dramatic political thriller starring Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright.
And I will throw in
Now, what I like about
the original show from the 80s was not nearly as good as the new show. But anyways, continue.
Well, this show is just brilliant. I really recommend it. Anyone, just sit down and give it a try. It's gonna be like crack after a while. But what I like about the show is the look of it. This is a show that will require you to pay attention to some details, and the details are absolutely brilliant. The show takes place in DC, of course. I mean, hello. And it feels polished, yet gritty at the same time. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, it gives you a real feeling of what it would be like in American politics versus some fake bullshit that they make for ABC, CBS, or NBC. You have great actors, like you said, Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright. One has won an Academy Award for Best Actor, and one's been nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress. It has that gritty, backstabbing politic. I think it sums up what the American political system's like.
Hmm. Yeah, so recently, the newest season is out on Netflix. I'm almost done with it. I'm like 2 episodes away from being done with it. And what I like what House of Cards does is it ties in modern day events into the show's world. I mean, right now they're fighting ICO, which is supposed to be ISIS. I know a season or two back there was they were in Russia and there was laws for the LGBT in the show.
Oh, Jason, I would, if I were you, maybe tell, besides Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright, what their characters actually are, who they play in the show.
Okay. Well, Kevin Spacey plays Francis Underwood, who is, at first he's a house whip, but then he works his way to the president of the United States.
By never actually being elected to the office.
Exactly. Very charismatic.
Yeah.
Very scary.
He works his way to the president of the United States by backstabbing and using underhanded political tricks from
I thought you said he.
He does. He starts as the House Whip.
Yeah.
And then he goes to vice president to president through all political maneuvering.
Without even campaigning.
No, he never even has to run for election. That's what our newest season is about, him running for the first time.
Right. Old Kevin Spacey.
He is a Southern Democrat.
Oh.
That describes half of me. But Miss Robin plays Claire Underwood, who is his wife and partner in crime. In both meanings.
Yes.
Now, what I Now, I started watching House of Cards senior year of high school. While I was watching it, we were reading Macbeth by Shakespeare, and one of the students pointed out that Francis and Claire are sort of like the Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. They work together to get what they need, and they'll do dirty tricks for each other if they have to.
Yes, it's one of the if you can read the undertones, and there's a big undertone of the show that it's not actually put out there as like a main theme, but if you just happen to pick up on the nuance, it shows that Frank Underwood uh, is a homosexual and his wife is married to him just for the power. I mean, they love each other and they are a team, but they are married to each other purely to be a power couple.
Mm. I know. I found myself at some episodes saying, "Is he gonna kiss him? Is he gonna kiss him? Is he gonna kiss him?"
And eventually he does in a few of the shows. Meacham, the guy that plays Meacham, his
Hmm.
Secret Service guy, he ends up having sex with him multiple times.
Woo! Only on Netflix, people. Only on Netflix.
which makes it the best. Which makes it the best show on television, technically, since Netflix is now counted as a television service.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And which this kind of lets me segue into the subtopic of House of Cards is the future of television. Now, House of Cards, if it were on actual TV, it would probably have to be on like HBO, Stars, or some expensive channel you'll have to subscribe to. But it's on a
And that's
relatively
what the. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jason. This is
but
your.
it's on a relatively short. It's on a relatively cheap source.
Yeah, $8 a month, and you get much content. So much content that they spend billions of dollars creating these original episodes, these original shows. And one of their major hits is House of Cards. And when it comes to, like you were saying, the future of television, this would have been a show that would have been on HBO. But that way is kind of. It used to be any great show used to have to be on HBO like that. And all the good shows, HBO can't bid on them anymore. I would only say, and the HBO has their teeth right now into what's the show about the dragons and
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. That's the only one they have left. That's really a big thing. But it used to be HBO was the place to go for any of the kind of shows you would not find on any other channel. Mm-hmm. Even regular cable channels are using the TVMA. They're using the rating system to their advantage now. So FX was the one that snagged like Sons of Anarchy, which would have also been a HBO show.
Mm-hmm.
There's just lots of shows now that they don't need HBO. And it used to be HBO was the place for original programming. And or Stars or Showtime or not usually. Cinemax has some original programming, but it was always like the B. Like HBO, Time Warner, whatever they own, Cinemax, they just have their B programming on Cinemax. But Netflix and Hulu, they're the places to go. Hulu will give you a show like 11/22/63, which is also based off of a Stephen King book, and it is absolutely fantastic. Just throwing that in there for those who have not subscribed to Hulu yet. That alone may be worth a month subscription.
How much is Hulu in the States?
You don't get Hulu in New Zealand?
Yeah, I haven't really looked at it. Yeah.
Hulu, the 11/22/63 is about the JFK assassination and going to the past.
That's right. Yeah.
it's a really good. It was a really good book, and it's a really great show because they're doing it as they do with most Stephen King books that get turned into movies, doing it as a miniseries. So yeah, it's very much like Hulu's very much like Netflix when it comes to their originals. They haven't caught up with Netflix when it comes to the originals yet. But yeah, I would say if someone held a gun to my head and said you can either watch House of Cards or you can binge watch, which is lovely about these channels, is, especially with Netflix, they give you every show right at once. Or 11, 22, 63, definitely Netflix, without a doubt. I do not even subscribe to regular cable anymore because of Netflix and Hulu. So I think the future is becoming now.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I myself still watch cable TV, to watch the news and to watch Empire and American Horror Story. What else am I
But you
watching?
can get
Oh,
all
and
of those on Hulu. You can get all of those on Hulu.
I know,
Just saying.
but I know. I feel like sometimes some of those shows hold back a little bit, if that makes sense. I mean, Empire, I feel like it's really on a tight leash. I feel like that if it was on HBO or channels like that, it'd have a lot
Or
more freedom.
Netflix. Netflix,
Yeah,
for example.
yeah, it
It
would be
would.
so much grittier and darker. The second season of Empire right now is a bit more grittier than this first season. The first season was a lot more opulent.
They're under the constraints of network television.
Yeah, they're
Even
on Fox.
Fox, their news channel, if you want to call it a news, I mean, yes, I'm going to make fun of a little bit of Fox here,
It's all right.
but when their news channel, it's very conservative, but on their actual programming, the Fox network is actually quite the opposite. It's probably more of leans more towards liberal, but
Right.
it's
Yeah.
still not even close to what it would be on a platform like Netflix, Hulu, or HBO, or any of the other paid subscription services. So I agree with you. Empire is they have to hold back because it's on a network, because networks still won't use the TVMA system. But anyway, Jason.
Alrighty. Any concluding thoughts about this topic?
Um, my concluding thoughts would be: get Netflix, watch House of Cards, start from season 1, and binge watch all the way to season 4. You'll love it. It's a great show. Besides that, you get so many more Netflix originals, and occasionally even a good movie will pop up on the streaming service. $8, you'll be happy you did. You can
So-
fire your cable company.
Yeah. So, Kevin Spacey as the president. So, what's he? Is he the guy? Is he the under guy or the on top guy?
I want to say that he's probably, the way he acted. I don't know. Since Jason, have you seen the shooting part of House of Cards yet? On the newest version.
Yes, I did.
So you know that Meacham, bye
Yeah.
Meacham.
Take a shit.
I would say, I would say that since he's the president equals power, but that's also his regular daily life. I would say that the president is probably more of a catcher than a pitcher. Just gonna throw that out there. I mean, they don't show it. Doesn't get like graphic, and it's not like an every show type thing. It's more like once out of every like 7 shows that they'll even have like that underling of the president's homosexuality. But it is
Kind of makes you wonder how close to reality.
Oh, Kevin Spacey is gay in real life. Yes.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
God,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
much-
Yeah,
that's
he's a great actor though.
Yeah.
He came out he came out with being a homosexual like back in the very beginning when he became famous. That's why he never gets like asked repeatedly about his sexuality.
I didn't
Or
even
there's
know.
yes.
Not that it really matters.
But yes, that is. Did you have any other conclusions when it comes to House of Cards, other than or any other questions? I can answer almost any question. I am a House of Cards enthusiast.
No. Who's shaving?
All I'm saying is get Netflix and watch it. You'll love it.
Mm-hmm. And make sure you buy your Underwood 2016 shirts at Target. I own one myself.
Francis Underwood, 2016.
And this segues into political thrillers, book recommendations by yours truly. All right, I hope everybody has a pen and pencil out, or pen, paper, and pencil.
If
whatever.
you don't, we'll give you 10 seconds to get a pen and paper and or use your computer like Microsoft Word or something along those lines.
Tick, 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 tick.
That should be good enough.
All right, here we begin. All right, recently I've just had the pleasure of reading a book series by the author Joel C. Rosenberg. Now, this book series begins with the book called The Third Target. The U.S., Jordan, Israel, and Palestine are about to sign a very important peace treaty. And J.B. Collins is going to cover it. However, there's a threat to this peace treaty. ISIS. And Mr. Collins has gotten word that there may be a chemical attack on this peace treaty, on this peace treaty deal, but nobody knows where it's going to be because
I'm gathering that J.B. Collins is a reporter.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And he has to work his reporting skills so that he can find out what's going to happen. That is the premise of The Third Target, and the next book called The First Hostage is a follow-up to that. Like, it takes place like a few minutes after the first book ended.
Oh, okay.
Now, what I liked about these two books were that they were just so thrilling. Like, every little corner there was a new surprise. There was a backstabbing. There was this. There was that. There was a twist. It just kept you on your toes. Like, I finished it in like 3 days.
And how long would you say the book generally runs, like page-wise?
I would say the book is about 300 to 400 pages.
And could you take your eyes? Did you not want to stop when you were when you had to put it down?
Oh,
is it one of those type of books where you just love to read more and more?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the best type of books.
Now, here's something you need to know about Joel C. Rosenberg, the author. His first book he published was called The Last Jihad. It was published in 2002. Now, I have the paperback with me right here, and I'm going to read you some of the things that happened. A terrorist hijack a jet plane and fly a kamikaze mission into an American city. Israeli commandos foil a nuclear attack but find evidence that the next targets could be Washington and New York. And suddenly the United States finds itself in a war in the Middle East over terrorism and weapons of mass destruction that will forever change the course of human history.
Interesting. It's very, seems like he likes to keep on pace with current events.
Oh, yeah. And
but razzle-dazzle us with some fiction.
Yep. And the foreword to the first book, The Last Jihad, is a little it's kind of his thoughts of what he went through when he was writing this book. He actually wrote it the beginning of January 2001, and right when he was doing the finishing touches to the book, 9/11 happened. And it was published the following year.
I probably gave him source material for his next installment of books.
Oh, absolutely. The Last Jihad is just book one in a huge series of other political thrillers, which frankly, if I were to live in the world that those books lived in, it would suck.
Yeah, it sounds pretty interesting though. Are they the type of
Josie
books that
Rose.
will transfer you to those worlds?
Oh yeah, he's very good at describing situations. He's very good at
Make
writing, and
something transformative.
yeah,
Interesting.
it's like I was in the Middle East or in the Capitol building in Washington D.C.
And that will, if these books are ever made in the movies, you'll definitely be able to say that was not as good as the book.
Probably.
Whenever
Although,
I read the book and then I see the movie, I'm usually like, oh, they left so much out.
ooh, I know, and that we're about to segue into the next topic. But concluding thoughts, I would highly recommend The Third Target by Joel C. Rosenberg, and if you are a fan of it, then you are more than welcome to buy The First Hostage, the sequel to The Third Target.
So your recommendations this week are
The Third Target by
The
Joel C.
Third Target
Rosenberg.
by Joel C. Rosenberg. I might actually pick up a copy of that just to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jason.
Mm-hmm. Now that we're talking about books, World War Z, the movie versus the book. I actually wrote an
Never
essay
seen.
about it.
I've never seen the book, but I have read or I've seen the movie, so this will be something interesting.
Alrighty. Well, I bought the book way back in the day, back when Borders was still a thing.
Ah, okay. The Seattle's best coffee. All right, gotcha.
And at first I only bought it just for the zombies, really. I wasn't looking for anything much. I was really young and I just wanted to read some gore and violence. I'm also the same person who bought Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies just for the zombies, not for Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, that's sounds like you were in the middle of a Walking Dead crisis.
Hmm. Yeah, I actually watched the very first episode when The Walking Dead premiered.
I
Ooh, what
haven't
a
seen
night.
every episode. But back to what you were saying.
All right. Now, over the years, I have appreciated World War Z the novel a lot more than I used to. The audiobook enhances it phenomenally well. It's available on YouTube. But the abridged version, which is a condensed version of the book, audiobook is mostly the one that circles around, but you can find the unabridged version, which has the entire stories. What makes
The
World
longer the book, the better. But anyway,
um well World War Z is not exactly a novel in the sense that we have a main character and supporting characters. It's really written as a collection of interviews. You see, a lot of time has passed since the end of World War Z, and a worker for the United Nations, who is usually referred to as the interview, goes around the world collecting stories of people who survived World War Z. These are people anywhere from smugglers, soldiers, housewives, even an astronaut who from Australia who saw the zombies from space.
interesting.
And
So the movie basically is a prequel then.
not exactly.
Okay.
I I've been following the development, the production of I followed the production of the movie ever since they announced we're making a World War Z movie, and I was like, all right. Basically, what the movie did was it made a main character, which is the one
Uh,
Brad Pitt plays. It took some elements of the book and put it into the movie, but for the most part, the movie is deviates from the novel greatly.
Yeah, I would think that sounds quite a bit different than what you were just talking about with the book. The
Mhm.
book actually sounds very fascinating, while the movie was meh.
I enjoyed the movie mainly just for like an action flick, something to kick back and watch.
Yeah, I would give the movie about a C plus. I mean, it was good. It was uh, above average. It
Mm.
wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It wasn't nearly the best movie I've ever seen. The book sounds a lot more interesting.
Oh, you should definitely give it a read. There is so much going on in the book. It not only goes into the stories of the survivors, but it even goes into the political aspects of the zombies. You see, the zombies for the longest time were covered up by governments, especially by the Chinese government where the disease actually began.
Mm,
And the disease didn't happen overnight. It actually took a lot of time to spread, not just by refugees leaving China, but even by the organ trade, the black market.
okay.
There's a very there's a very cool story in it where a heart transplant goes wrong in Brazil. That's all I'm gonna say.
Versus millions of zombies just popping up overnight.
Right.
It's one of the things I didn't like. It's one of the things I don't like about certain movies, how they seem rushed,
Mm-hmm.
especially if something's adapted from a book. They have to rush it, and I don't like it when that's why when something's adapted from a book, I'm usually for miniseries and or make it part one, part two, part three, so you
Oh,
don't have to rush
oh,
a book
absolutely.
that's been, because it seems like they left a lot out of the movie, like the really interesting parts, and made it more of
Absolutely.
an action flick.
Absolutely. I think World War Z World War Z is a really hard thing to adapt because there are so many point of views, there's so many stories, and it would cost a lot of money to make because it takes place in several different locations around the world, even in outer space.
Which they left that part out of the movie, if I remember correctly. I know they went to Israel and some other foreign countries.
Yeah, actually, the wall and Israel is actually true. That's in the book, but not the whole wall coming down. Israel and Palestine formed together to wait out the zombie disease behind the
Okay.
giant wall. So that's in the book. Even the character, Jurgen Varbram, I think his name was, who's in the movie, is also in the book.
Was the female that ended up cutting her own arm off, was she in the book as well?
Nope.
Oh, they made her for the movie, did they?
Oh yes, there is.
That's something else I can't stand about the movie when they adapt something from a movie. They'll bring an entirely new character that wasn't even in the book. Sorry, I get ticked off.
It's okay, but they may make a sequel, and what I'm hoping for they do is this. Perhaps one of the best passages in the novel was the Battle of Yonkers. So basically, it's been a few months since a news reporter broke the news that the vaccine, quote unquote, vaccine they made for the zombie disease was just a placebo. And basically, the entire world panicked,
Hmm.
ensuing an era called the Great Panic. And people are leaving the US left and right. They're going to Canada for winter. And while this is happening, the U.S. government is saying, "Hey, we are the United States. We are going to take a stand against these zombies." So what they do,
America. Fuck yeah. Go ahead.
exactly, and what they're going to do is they're going to fight off the zombies north of New York City in the city of Yonkers, and they're going to make it a media spectacle. Think of
Uh,
Vietnam, but on a highway, sort of.
okay. I can do that.
They have everything. There's cameras, there's helicopters to capture everything. This is going to bring hope back to America. It goes it goes south, like horribly
Oh, I'm
wrong.
sure.
The guy he's interviewing, the interviewer is interviewing a veteran of Yonkers, and he basically says that they were using the wrong tactics to fight the zombies. What they were doing was shock and awe and Cold War tactics.
Hmm.
And he summed it
So
up
this
as
takes place even far into the future.
Yeah.
The book
It's
sounds a lot better than the movie. I'm sorry.
absolutely. It's oof. I still think about it, and that's why I wrote my one of my college papers, my persuasive essay, why World War Z the book is better than World War Z the movie.
Just the explanation alone, and having seen the movie, they kind of just finished it off with meningitis being quote unquote the cure, and never said anything about it being a placebo because Kevin Spacey was actually quite sick. Not Kevin Spacey. Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey's a better actor. My bad.
It's cool.
Sorry, Kevin. If you're listening to this.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there was going to be one scene that was left out during production that's taken from the book. Basically, what the scene consisted of is it was set place in Ukraine, and what happened was the Ukrainian government bombed their citizens with gas, try to exterminate the population and just fled to the Crimea.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the book. That was in the book. And it should have been in the movie, but I think there are some storyboards floating around.
And I think that they talked about North Korea exterminating their own population in the movie.
That's actually kind of in the book too, although it's never
Okay.
really confirmed or denied. In the book, the North Korean population went underground, and they never resurfaced even years after.
Leaving you to believe that they were massacred or they died.
Or there are 20 million zombies underground, or there's a whole new society underground.
Okay.
It's just like, I wonder if.
And in another book, it will, because I'm sure there will be another book to that. It'll probably explain. I don't see them making a sequel to that movie. I just don't know how well it did at the theater, and I don't know how well of a fan following after the movie had come out. Were people chomping at the bit for a sequel? I know I wasn't.
It did very well at the box office, and Max Brooks, the author of World War Z himself, said he sees the movie as a completely different thing with just his book's name slapped on it, and he just left it at that.
So he didn't actually give it a seal of approval as though this is anything like his book.
Not really. I
It
know
was
he
kind of
did. I know he
like
did that.
the when they did V for Vendetta, the guy that wrote the book, he didn't give his stamp of approval, and the illustrator did, but the actual writer did not. So yeah, I mean I could understand that. Says it's not really a great deal like the book. It doesn't sound as cool as the book.
I like that movie.
I'm not saying there was anything wrong with the movie, but it didn't have like sequel written on it. Like I didn't walk out of there going, I can't wait for World War Z 2. It was one of those.
Now, if they can't make World War Z into a miniseries with live action people, there is another option.
That would
Animation.
be great. Yeah.
I think it would be
Even if they
cool.
went the Japanese anime route and made it like bloody, and
Yes.
that's what I would like to see.
That would
And
be
make it very
cool.
much like the book.
I mean, because it's set up as you can have one or two stories per episode, and wow, that would be brilliant.
Yes. We should start a campaign. To those of you watching, start tweeting your local and professional studios. Start a Kickstarter, get this thing into production. Let's do this.
I'm not sure if Brad Pitt or Max Brooks wants to give up the rights to the gold mine, quote unquote.
We'll get Brad Pitt has enough money. If he's anything like he claims he is, I'm not about the money. I'm just about the art and the shut up, Brad. So let's get Brad Pitt out of the way. We'll get somebody else, maybe a better actor. It's not Brad Pitt's not a bad actor. He was really good in the Ocean's movies, but yeah, he's not the best actor in the world.
He has a pretty face.
He's not as good as, say, George Clooney.
Now that is an actor.
The man can act. Plus, he's also a pretty face. I know that's all you care about, Jason.
I like.
But he's also a very good actor.
See, I'm trying to think of some other cool stuff about World War Z. Let me think. Oh yes, they even go into they even have these celebrities, so to speak, in World War Z, the book. Like they all go to Long Island, they get in a mansion, and they're gonna try to wait out the apocalypse. Instead, however, they don't make very good decisions. They broadcast their holdout on reality TV and on the internet, and their compound is overrun by very angry, homeless people from New York City.
Any smart person would broadcast their location.
I know, and they had everybody from Paris Hilton, Larry
I
the
would
Cable
feed her
Guy.
to the zombies. Oh, they would both go to the zombies.
Ooh, I think they even had Hillary Clinton.
Hillary, sorry, you're gonna be zombie food.
Although I think she'd be like, she'd get on Air Force One and peace out.
Yeah, you would
And
think. But
and I
I'd like to make her zombie food.
and I
Or a
always
Trump vote.
and I always keep imagining a scene where like Oprah Winfrey is looking over Chicago as the zombies are down the street, and somebody knocks on the door saying, "Miss Winfrey, the helicopter's ready," and she just peace out.
It's a shame too because zombies like dark meat. You can't deny them, and Oprah would serve up a lot of dishes. Someone could have a slab of her ribs, some bacon off of Oprah's stomach. Maybe it's some of those wrinkles off of her face. Eat the Oprah wrinkles. Win a prize, zombie prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our savage for tonight, Mr. Josh.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I gladly and humbly hope I represent the savages of the world with utmost pride and enthusiasm. And I'd like to thank God. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have got this award. Thank you.
Ooh, one of the things I did like about World War Z
Everyone has
movie
a line about it.
was the intro. I thought the intro was really cool, especially when Mr. Wendy Williams showed up, and I thought the intro was kind of like a collection or a commentary on our world today, as we just sit down on the TV, watch a little news, bad news here. Oh, this is getting too bad. Let's go to some talk show, home shopping network stuff to get our minds off things.
Hmm.
And meanwhile, the problem's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Until everybody is infected.
That's what the book also did too. Is it showed a commentary to the American way of life and how many Americans did not know there were zombies until they came scratching or bashing down their doors.
I see.
And like it was they talked
Because we're
about
all too preoccupied with our cell phones, I think.
yeah, World War Z the novel was written in 2006. Yeah, 2006. So this was really when a new era was beginning to take off.
Where the real life zombies staring into our cell phones were also walking the earth.
That's right. Actually, Stephen King wrote a book similar to that called Cell.
hmm
Oh, I love that book.
And we might cover that in our next, your next episode, I should
Yeah.
say. This is Jason's show, by the way.
Yes, this is my show.
I'm doing a lot of talking, but this is Jason's show.
We love to have commentary. So, do we have any thoughts, any more thoughts on the ghouls from two sides of the
I
world?
think I think I gave all of my advice and or opinion about all three subjects, which I said that's what I was here to do, just help you out.
All right, all right. AZ, you have anything to say?
Az fell asleep.
Bugger.
Bloody hell.
Queen?
Az really fell asleep. I could hear him snoring.
Wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we had a pretty good show tonight. With what we have. Expect some pretty cool topics coming your way next week, and be sure to
And
check out
stay
those.
tuned.
Yes, be sure to check out those books and shows that we mentioned. You will not regret it.
And check out our main channel and check out our main shows. I will be coming soon doing a wrestling show. To those of you who can't wait for WrestleMania 32 that are coming up, I will be giving predictions, backstage news, and all of that I know you wrestling fans love.
Well, thus concludes our program. Everybody stand up for the national anthem.